In this video, we're going to look at graphing one variable quantitative data with a histogram. And if you need this worksheet, you can get it on my website at caraleemath.com. Here's an example, a set of 15 exam scores for a fictional Math 105 class at PCC. Okay, and we have from 31, they are in order, 31, 62, all the way up to 100. So first we're going to graph this by hand, like a histogram by hand, and in a later video we'll do it on Excel. Okay, so it says make a histogram using a bin width of 10 points. So what is this bin width? When we talked about qualitative variables, we could make a bar chart because we had certain categories and then we had a number in each category. Well, we'll do a similar thing here, but when it's quantitative data, we have to actually make a category or a bin. And the width is how wide the bin is. So the reason I use test score data is because it's out of 100, and it's really nice to look at bin widths of 10, like the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. So that's what we're going to do on our histogram. We're going to label, let's see, we've got 30 to 100. So if I go 30s here, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and then we could do 100. We'll talk about 100 when we get there. And this would work. So this one will really be 30, and we'll put 30 to 39 in here. Then we'll have 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and 100. And then we can group these together. So we've only got one in the 30s. I'll label this to be the frequency. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is the number of students, or frequency. We could also make one with relative frequency, with percentages. Here we'll do frequency or count. So I'm going to shade in one box. One student in the 30s had a bad day or was absent a lot or something like that. We don't have any in the 40s or 50s, then we have two people in the 60s. So that will be, I have to go to the right of the number, so that'll be frequency 2. Then we'll go up to the 70s. We also have 2 there. 80s, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's good. We're getting more as we go higher up. 1, 2, 3, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can start to see it's looking like a bar chart. The difference between a bar chart and a histogram is in a histogram, the bars are right next to each other. And that's really important because when your eye looks at it, there's no gap between, 39 and 41. And so those folks who are used to looking at graphs like this, if you don't see spaces between, you'll know that it's a histogram. If you do see spaces in between, you'll know that it's categorical data. Okay, 90s, we have 3. 1, 2, 3. And 100, I put in here because it's a little bit of an interesting case. 100, if we follow our rule and we're consistent, for example, 31 we put to the right. We did have a 70, so we put it to the right. So if we put 100, we would put it to the right if we followed our convention. However, that kind of makes it look like the test scores went up to 110, which is not true. So sometimes you would see, and in different software packages will do this differently, sometimes you will see it stacked on top of there. And so it's a decision you need to make in each data set. We could go 90 to 100 and put it right there. Then it's a little more clear that our maximum was 100. So something to watch out for there, and we'll see how Excel does that when we look at that in Excel. One more thing before we stop this video and go to Excel is I need to label this. So I did label my vertical axis with frequency. These are test scores. And let's make a title, Histogram of Math 105 test scores. And if we had units, these are really points, so let's put the units on there. I'm really big on labeling because when I went to work at Saturn and I was a statistical analyst, and I took over for someone who had been there previously, who I never met, but there were files full of graphs, and I could not understand what any of these graphs were because they didn't have any labels. They didn't have X, Y, they didn't have the date. They were pretty much useless to me. So if you want your graphs to be useful to people in a report and later on in time, make sure you really label everything, and especially when in your job, that's going to be really important. So that is a histogram, which is a graph of a quantitative variable, just a single variable. And it's similar to a bar chart. You could call it a type of bar chart, but it doesn't have any spaces in between. So let's even make a note of that. No spaces between the bars, unless there's actually a gap. But where there's data, there's no spaces between the bars. Okay, I'll see you in the next video.